wanted to ask you, like, is your beef with the funnel just because it assumes a linear path? Like, at the end of the day, people have various journeys of buying, right? Like this digital journey that we talked about. But at some point, they consider the product, they have an intent to try it, and then they buy it. Do you disagree that, like, at some point, after this crazy playground journey, they do go down this linear path to buying? Walk us through the playground analogy.
So yes, and what I'll say, I think there's a couple of pitfalls with the linear journey. First, I think it's more of a retrospective measurement tool than a forward-looking strategy tool. You are correct that a certain number of people become aware, explore, whatever, try it, and then buy or do not buy. That's the first pitfall. The second pitfall is that it basically is a very company-centric mindset. So it only starts when I, as a marketer or a salesperson, recognize that you're on a journey. It completely ignores all of the things that happened prior to you being on this journey, right? So if I think about this, and you and I were talking about this before we hit record, you were like, yeah, I was so fascinated with the playground and I was going to talk about this. And then I was like, wait a minute, I think I heard this before at Inbound. And then you went on a journey doing some research and you're like, oh, there's a bunch of podcasts where she's talked about only the playground journey. So at what point were you aware, like, that you're going to basically buy my theory? At what point did you consider that you wanted to accept this theory? And then at what point did you, in this case, decide not to buy it for this conversation as like a core discussion point for this episode? Right? Like we could run this on your journey as well, right?
So my life cycle began before I even knew it started.
And then, so you told me this, right? And I was like, oh, that's so interesting, because to me, I've been talking about this for, at this point, like 6 years. But for you just rediscovered it, right? If you hadn't said that to me, I would have no idea that you had consumed my content at Inbound, that you had forgotten about it, that you came back to it and thought it was interesting. Like, I would have no idea about that. So those are kind of the two big pitfalls with the funnel, is that it's more of a retrospective measurement tool, not a forward-looking strategy tool. And it's very company-centric. It's only when I recognize that you're doing something. So when we talk about the funnel, we have to shift that mindset. And I actually would say it's not a free-for-all, right? Like, if you land in the middle of nowhere and you're like, I don't know what any of this is or where to go, right? That's disconcerting. So we do, as marketers, want to design journeys. We want to design them. We want them to be smart, helpful, seamless, and impactful. But we have to do that in a way that's smart enough that no matter which way the audience goes, they don't hit a dead end or they don't experience that friction. And so things like our CTAs, like from a very tactical perspective, the Learn More CTA, kill that. Nobody knows what that is. What happens when I click that button? I don't know. Versus contact sales, book a demo, sign up, try for free, activate a trial, read the blog, watch the video, register for a ticket. If you look at how I'm promoting the book, I don't just generally say, grab a copy. I say pre-order, so that people know that they're not going to receive it immediately. And it's funny, I've even had a few people ping me and be like, yeah, my book still hasn't arrived. And I'm like, well, you're going to be waiting for another 3 months, buddy. Like, did you miss that it said pre-order, right? Somebody else commented, they're like, yeah, I clicked on the link and there's no reviews for the book. That's correct, because no one has received it. Like, again, and so again, there's even that, right? I made it very clear when I said pre-order, comes out in May, whatever. People still miss it. But for the most part, that clarity, not just buy the book, pre-order now, grab a copy. And then obviously once it comes out, I'll say, grab a copy today. Great. You'll get your book within, if you've got Amazon Prime, 2 days, right? If you buy it on Kindle, you'll get it immediately. So even the CTAs, when we think about that, it's like, it's actually not that hard to design the journey in a way that humans actually can trust you, they understand what's happening, and it's helpful to them, even though it sounds scary to be like, you're telling me I have to throw out my whole framework. And I'm like, kind, but hear me out. Here's what we're replacing it with. And there's stuff you can do today, regardless of whether you buy the book. Fix your CTAs.